Well, we're joined on the line now by Nelson Khwete, the Department of International Relations and Cooperation spokesperson. A very good morning to you, Nelson. I'm sure it's been a very, very busy week for you indeed. What is the latest information you have on identifying those who were killed in this tragedy and those that remain unaccounted for?
Well, the information we received from our team that is in Lagos, working with the leadership of the church and other authorities, is that they have been able to positively identify some of the bodies of our fallen fellow South Africans. We have given the list of the 10 identified bodies to the operating center in Pretoria that is manned by officials now who include social workers, and they have managed to communicate the information from the mission to the affected families. All the families of the bereaved have been informed, and we are still in the process of identifying the rest of the bodies. And the families of those that are yet to be identified have also been informed that the process of identifying the bodies is still underway, and that we would require their further cooperation and patience as we work through this tragedy together.
Nelson, we are aware that there are lots of families who've been waiting at OR Tambo International on this side for days now. Are you still taking families over to Nigeria, or are you just asking them to send in those photos that they need and then just wait here for word from you?
Well, the process of taking families to Nigeria has a lot of careful consideration, because of the fact that on the ground in Nigeria, when the families arrive there, the process of identifying will take more than just face recognition, because of the magnitude of the collapse and the fact that the process would require DNA testing, which would also require fingerprint verification in some instances. So we do not necessarily have to take all the families to Nigeria, because we would need more than just face recognition to identify the bodies. So the team of experts that's on the ground in Nigeria is helping us to make assessment as to whether or not it's really necessary to bring the families there, because there are ways in which we can identify the families through the experts that we are sending to Nigeria. And that is the process that we are working on at the moment. That is how we are able to identify the bodies. Those that we are able to identify through other means, because some of them were carrying identification, the forms of identification on their persons. That process we are able to do that. The list of names that we have given of the bodies that were identified, those bodies were found with means of identification on them when the rescue operation found them under the rubble.
Nelson, when the news of this tragedy actually unfolded, and the magnitude of it, and the fact that South Africans were involved unfolded, there were reports that the Nigerian government was not being that cooperative. They were being a bit shady with the information coming out. Has that changed? Has that gotten better over the past few days?
Well, we are not going to go into a finger-pointing exercise. Our first and foremost priority now is to identify the bodies, to finalize the process of repatriating the remains. And our High Commissioner is on the ground. He is visiting the church. He is visiting mortuaries, hospitals, together with his team. And that is really our priority, that he's able to do all of that. And he has been able now in the last few days to do that. And that is really where our priority is. We are not going to go into the finger-pointing issue.
With regards to the investigation into this entire tragedy, will the South African government be involved in any way in the investigations, or are you leaving it completely up to the Nigerian authorities?
The Nigerian authorities will take the lead in investigating the cause of the collapse, but the South African government has offered to assist in the process of ensuring that the investigation is carried out. The Nigerian government is still considering our offer to assist in the investigation, and we will hear from the Nigerian government as and when the decision is taken to allow our experts to lend a helping hand in investigating the cause, and also in investigating the entire incident and how it affects our citizens.
All right, thank you very much for your time this morning. That was Department of International Relations and Cooperation spokesperson Nelson Khwete on the line for us.